Namaste. Welcome to the Warrior Monk Wisdom at Sunrise series. A daily dose of self-discovery can bring the calm within the storm. For when we know ourselves, the rest of the world begins to make sense. Let's flow.
If you are not happy here and now, you never will be. Tyson Dishimiru. Good morning. We are on part 2 of our transition series. And today, we're talking about being a firefighter, if you will, and what that means. So yesterday, we kind of talked about being a box checker, and now we're going to go the polar opposite, right? On day 1, we're talking about everything we have to get done. It's check, check, check. This is all about putting out fires on our day-to-day, okay? So what does that mean, right? It means that if we're not checking off boxes, it's because we're simply moving through the status quo, checking off the boxes, but then something happens, and then, your kid's screaming, or your kid gets hurt at school or in sports. There's a work emergency, there's, a road accident, there's all of these quote unquote fires in our life that we have to put out, right? And that's the polar opposite of box checking. And so we have this tug of war going on in our life of we have to get this done because society wants us to get this done. So we need to check these boxes off. But life keeps popping up, so I have to take care of these things, right? Where you find peace and happiness is actually going to be in the middle. All right. But you do need to understand that both of the box checking and the firefighting are necessities to life, especially in the culture that we live in today. Unfortunately, we can't go back and live in a different time. So we do have to figure out how to cope today, right? There is no good without bad. If there was no bad, if you were able to put out all these fires, for example, how would you feel? Would you be okay? Or do you actually revel in that chaos? And do you find peace within that chaos? My wife is a perfect example of that. I don't know if she would be happy in peace, to be honest. She needs a little bit of chaos. It helps her thrive. But she also, for her own mental and physical health, needs to take time and does take time to try to find a little bit of peace, because you can't keep going at a chaotic pace and expect to stay healthy, right? So you do need a little bit of that order as well. And if all you have is yin, your yang is going to get out of control, because eventually you're going to have that chaos, right? So again, let's think about these scenarios. If you were able to check those boxes and you were able to put out all those fires, but you don't have anything for yourself, if there's nothing in your life that you have intentionally put in for you to be happy with, would you be happy? Because what would you be enjoying? There wouldn't be anything left, because you've put out all the fires, checked off all your boxes, but you haven't spent enough time learning and loving yourself and figuring out what makes you happy without the chaos and without the order. That when perfect harmony becomes a thing, it's hard for you to accept that because you don't have anything there to enjoy. So we're going to go back to what I said yesterday, and it's all about figuring out what makes you happy. And maybe you don't do it every day. Maybe you can't. Maybe you don't have time. But being able to pull those things off the shelf when you can is imperative for your overall happiness and your transition into another stage of your life. Because when those transitions occur, you need to be able to pull that activity or whatever off the shelf, even if it's reading. Stop thinking, because you don't need to think, and grab a book and get lost for a little bit, or whatever the activity is. And that is the key takeaway to the last couple of days' message. So day 3 is coming up tomorrow. That is all I have for you today, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for flowing with us. Remember to like, comment, share, and follow us on all your favorite platforms. Namaste.